After shaking the entire continent with a jaw-dropping $1 million gift to President Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso, Nigerian music icon Davido finds himself in a whirlwind like never before. But this time, it's not about sold-out concerts, hit records, or social media flair. This time, it's about power, influence, legacy. In a continent where young people cry out for leaders who understand their struggles, dreams, and ambitions, Davido has somehow, whether by accident or divine orchestration, become a symbol. This fictional story follows the shocking aftermath of Davido's $1 million donation. In an unprecedented move, Burkina Faso offers him a Pan-African Ministerial role for youth empowerment. The position, though symbolic, carries weight across border sand, instantly catapults Davido from beloved entertainer to an emerging statesman. But not everyone is clapping. In Nigeria's corridors of power, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu isn't smiling. Far from it. He sees the move as a direct challenge, a spotlight Davido has no business standing in. And what begins as a political whisper turns into a calculated campaign to bring the superstar back down to earth. What follows is a high-stakes drama blending celebrity, geopolitics, and generational power dynamics. One man's rise becomes another man's paranoia. And the whole of Africa is watching. The announcement landed like a bombshell across newsrooms worldwide. Davido appointed Minister for Pan-African Youth Empowerment by President Traoré. The footage rolled endlessly. Davido, dressed in traditional Burkinabe attire, standing next to President Traoré, both men smiling as the applause roared. Behind them, the national flags of multiple African countries waved an intentional backdrop that signaled something bigger than national borders. Traoré declared, "We are recognizing not just talent, but the courage to give back." Davido took the podium. He didn't sing. He didn't joke. Instead, he said, "Music brought me here, but vision will carry us forward. This is not about Mets, about millions of young Africans who feel unseen. I stand for them." Social media erupted. Minister Davido trended worldwide within hours. TikToks showed kids in Lagos, Nairobi, and Accra mimicking his speech. Twitter became a battleground of opinion, with celebrities, politicians, and activists. BBC Africa ran a special. Al Jazeera dubbed it Africa's cultural reawakening. In Lagos, street vendors sold t-shirts with Davido's face and the phrase "Africa First." But not everyone was celebrating. In Abuja, inside the marbled walls of Aso Rock, the reaction was different as cold. President Tinubu stared blankly at the report in front of him. The room was silent. A minister for Africa. From Nigeria. And it's Davido? He tossed the document onto the table. "So now our musicians become ministers overnight?" he snapped. "Are we running a government or a talent show?" Tinubu paced the room. What if ECOWAS brings him in? What if he starts mobilizing young people? He already has more reach than our government press. An aide spoke up nervously. "Sir, some Nigerian youths on social media are already calling him the People's Minister. They say he's doing more for Africa than most officials ever have." Tinubu stopped. This was no longer a headline, it was a potential revolution. 2 days after the announcement, the repercussions began. Davido's team received an official notice from Nigeria's immigration office. His passport had been flagged for a security review. "Routine process," the letter read, but nothing about it felt routine. Soon after, his Lagos-based record label faced surprise visits from tax auditors. Questions were raised about unreported earnings and foreign financial transfers. His charity foundation, known for building schools and donating to orphanages, was suddenly accused of non-compliance in its filings. The media frenzy followed quickly. Davido under investigation for political ties abroad? Tinubu's government moves against Davido? But Davido didn't flinch. He tweeted just 5 words. "Africa first. Naga de Ranem." Kiss Daniel, Tiwa Savage, Mayorkun, and Zlatan posted solidarity emojis. Fans launched campaigns with the hashtag #HandsOffDavido. Very Dark Man, always outspoken, did a 2-hour live stream shouting, "You want to intimidate the only one showing Africa in a good light?" He gave $1 million for free, and your response is stress? Davido didn't respond to the chaos, but his silence was louder than words. As Nigeria tried to clamp down, the continent opened up. President Traoré issued a powerful diplomatic message. "We will not allow one nation's fear to dim a Pan-African light. Davido belongs to all of us." The African Union echoed the sentiment publicly, congratulating Davido and endorsing the creation of a youth empowerment desk across its member states, with him as the honorary leader. From Ghana to Kenya to Rwanda, youth ministers voiced support. In South Africa, parliamentarians praised Davido for uniting African identity through action, not politics. Even Liberia's youth-led civil society groups began using the phrase "be like Davido" in community campaigns. Diaspora celebrities joined in. Akon tweeted, "Davido's vision is what Africa needs. The youth don't need permission to lead." Jidenna posted a video saying, "This is how revolutions start when culture meets conscience." In schools, students wrote essays titled, "Why Davido Inspires Me." In universities, debates erupted. Across WhatsApp groups, radio shows, and churches, one question echoed, "Why is our government afraid of someone doing good?" The tension hit fever pitch when a whistleblower, during a late-night segment on African Independent Television, 8, President Tinubu fears that Davido might be laying the groundwork to launch his own political movement, one that speaks directly to the frustrations of the youth. The studio went silent. Within minutes, the clip exploded on social media, TikTok, Twitter, WhatsApp statuses. It was everywhere. And then came another blow this time, from an investigative journalist with close ties to political insiders. "There are whispers from within the political class," she said, "that several powerful governors, especially from the South, are courting Davido to lead a new, youth-driven political party in the 2027 elections. A party that could disrupt Nigeria's entire political landscape." That night, something extraordinary happened. From Lagos to Kano, Port Harcourt to Ibadan, Nigerian students without coordination, without a central organizer, held spontaneous candlelight rallies. They gathered in university halls, town squares, and even beside broken streetlights. They held signs that said, "We stand with Minister Davido. Tinubu, leave our voice alone." Music built nations too. The chants weren't just about Davido. They were about a generation tired of empty promises, tired of being told their voices don't matter, and somehow Davido became more than a celebrity. He became a symbol. The pressure was undeniable. CNN ran back-to-back segments. Afrobeat star turned political icon. Is Davido Africa's new voice? Human Rights Watch and Amnesty International began raising concerns about political harassment. Foreign diplomats quietly reached out to ASO Rock, asking for clarification. The African Union's Commission chair released a statement urging member states to uphold the dignity of youth leaders who are contributing positively to Pan-African development. Tinubu had two options: fight harder or pull back. Instead, Tinubu surprised everyone. With a careful mix of diplomacy and pride, he said, "Davido is a proud son of Nigeria. Though we may differ in approach, we cannot ignore the impact he has made not only in entertainment but in youth empowerment. We celebrate his achievements." It wasn't quite an apology, but it was a concession. Following morning, the restrictions were lifted. Davido's passport was cleared. His foundation's bank accounts were restored. The audits disappeared like morning dew. And across the continent, a collective sigh of relief was felt. The lion had roared, but the people roared louder. Davido relocated, at least temporarily, to Ouagadougou. There, under the full support of President Traoré, he rolled out the Unity Africa Initiative, a bold plan designed to empower young people with resources, ideas, and platforms to shape the continent's future. In just the first 3 months, his impact was felt. He launched youth innovation hubs in Burkina Faso, Ghana, and Senegal, tech-equipped spaces where young minds could brainstorm, build, and birth new solutions. He unveiled a digital Pan-African cultural exchange program, connecting creatives, coders, and thinkers from Lagos to Kigali, from Nairobi to Accra. Standing before a crowd of 15,000 African youths at the inaugural summit in Ouagadougou, Davido gave a speech that would later be quoted in school books. "We may have borders, but we share a future." He wasn't just representing Nigeria anymore, he was representing all of us. From club stages in Atlanta to global award shows in London, from Afrobeats to Africa's boardrooms, he proved that fame isn't the end, it's the beginning. That music isn't a distraction, it can be a movement. Tinubu tried to block him, but ended up cementing his legacy. And now, the youth of Africa don't just sing to his music, they march to his mission. Like, comment, and subscribe if you believe Africa deserves bold leadership and fearless love. Because this is more than a story, it's the beginning of a new Africa.